King. What about Chin? How about Chin? No, Chin's fine. Leona. Okay. Okay, that's those. What to practice is also going to be in this video. Hit confirms. Anti-air. Those are the big two. That's all. I'm pretty sure that's all that I'm going to mention. Yeah. Okay. So this should be a relatively short video, depending on how much I rant. This should be video 6. What's going on, people? Today I'm going to be in the character selection screen for 80% of the video. Because this video is going to cover what characters you should be picking. I'm also going to be going over a general overview of every character. Very general. What makes them different from every character. And before I begin going over the characters, I need to refresh your memory. You need 3. You see, above here, there's 3 slots for characters. You need 3 characters to play on a team, and you can't have the same character 3 times. Like you can't have the same character more than once. In fact, you can't even have regular Kyo and Nest's Kyo. You can't have both Ioris, and you can't have both of these guys. So you'll need at least 3 different characters to even begin playing the game. And the goal of this video is to, 1, help you choose your characters that you want to play based on how you want to play and what I recommend. And 2, what should you be practicing in order to get you those characters that you want to play to a level where you can compete with others. First of all, go watch the videos that I made thus far. I believe there's 5 videos, maybe 6, that came before this one covering the general system. Although I didn't go into too many character specifics. I only showed like examples of universal things. So, what should you pick first? What should you pick second? What should you pick third? As a beginner, this is very important. As a beginner, it does not matter who you pick or what order you play them in. It does not. You need to learn the game first, and then you learn the character. And then once you learn what your character excels at, or once you understand how you want to play a character, you can choose what position to put them in after. Like, once you've already learned the character, as opposed to a game like Marvel where it's like, oh, I want Virgil because he has X Factor and he can kill people. That's not the case in this game. At the very beginning, you can literally play any character, and you'll win and you'll lose. Pretty much, like, matchups aren't a thing in this game. Tiers aren't a thing. They exist. Matchups exist. Tiers exist. Which is why you see a lot of Mr. Karate and a lot of Kim and a lot of Flamiori in high-level teams, and maybe a lot of Benny Mario, or you see these very specific characters in top-level play because there are tier lists, and because those players are doing everything they can to win, it would be stupid not to pick the best characters, basically. However, that only applies to the higher level. Once you've reached like a ceiling of skill where it's difficult to find opponents better than you, and it's difficult to improve, it doesn't matter what character you play. Up until that point, pick who you like. pick who you think looks cool. I think Duolone's cool because he's got stretchy limbs. I think Kyo's cool because he's got like a little chain on his belt, you know. Or I think Leona's cool because her hair changes color, or so, you know, or you know, this dude spits fire everywhere, or you know, like pick a character based on what you want to play. That being said, there are certain characters that are better for beginners than others. There are certain characters that are bad for beginners, and I recommend to stay away from. I will be talking about that as I go through each character very briefly. So, one last thing. In general, your first character should be a character that builds meter, because your meter will carry over from one character to the next. So your first character should probably be like a battery character, or some character that can still competently play in the neutral without meter. Vice in particular is much scarier when she has EX bar to use. So you don't want to play her first because she loses a lot of potential when she does not have meter. That's one example. So first characters should be characters that can competently play, can effectively play without any meters, but they can still burn meters if you want to. Your second character should focus on drive meter, and the reason I don't say energy meter is because every time you get a new character, you get one extra max meter. I forgot to mention this in the last video, but every round that you lose a character, your next character comes in with one extra meter. So with a maximum of 5. So your first character can have a maximum of 3 energy meters. Your second character can have a maximum of 4, and your last character can have a maximum of 5. Now every single character in this game, all of them, I think there's 36 of them. Every single character has one combo at least that does 1,000 damage, which will kill every character in the game. Which means that if you end up with the character with 5 bars and both drives, you can kill. So I know like certain characters can kill for less, like Chin can kill for 2. Actually, kill for 0, but that's, you know. So like characters who can kill for less meter are very useful as last teams, because you have more meter to spend on your last character. So first character should be a battery for meter. Second character should be very useful with drive meter, because you always have 2 stocks of drive. And the last character should be like your kill character. Like I'm going to HG combo his last character and win. Again, you don't need to play that way, because like I said, every character can kill for 5 bars and both drives. Some characters more easily than others, but every character can't. Like every character can do everything basically. But once you get to like once you start learning your characters, you'll be like, okay, maybe I should put Daimon up front because I don't really use my meter with him very well, or I use my meter better with this other character. So you would like flip around your team members based on that. But that, again, that's after you've learned the character. So now that's all out of the way. I can start talking about the characters. Going from left to right, Kyo, you have 2 Kyos. What these guys are good at is offense. Kyos are very, very, very offense-heavy characters. So if you want to rush down, pick a Kyo. In general, regular Kyo deals less damage, but he's a much better battery. So if you play regular Kyo, he'd be really, really good up front, and he's really good at converting his drive meter into energy. Like if you spend a drive on a combo, you'll typically build an entire stock of energy anyway, especially in the corner. He's a very basic character fundamentally. He's got really easy low confirms. As far as Nest's Kyo, he is a little bit more he's actually a little bit simpler in my opinion. Like he doesn't have a fireball. He's got he'll teach you how to use like Rekkas, So he'll teach you a very large array of options, which would make him a very good beginner character. In general, Nest's Kyo is, I would say, a little bit more aggressive than regular Kyo, because regular Kyo has fireballs, and Nest's Kyo has, I guess, just more mix-ups. Moving on to Benimaru. Benimaru is a top tier character because he has an uppercut, basically. He has an uppercut. He has an infinite, actually, but it's really, really hard. There's a couple of infinites in this game, but they're all hard. You don't really ever see them more than like 2 reps or something, even in the highest level of play. But what Benimaru does is he's kind of an all-around character. That he's just kind of good. Like that's kind of the case for every character. Like Kyo is really aggressive. Every character in this game is aggressive. Every single one. But Kyo is more so. But Benimaru is more of a well-rounded. Like he has an uppercut. He has his. He's really good at controlling space with his Raijinkins. He has a command grab. He's got really high damage. He can convert really well off of Drive Meter, etc., etc., etc. I would not recommend him for beginners. Most of the top tier characters I simply don't recommend for beginners, because the reason they're top tier is because of their options. And if you're given too many options as a beginner, you're going to be focusing on those options that are specific to that character and not focusing on the fundamentals of the game itself. Therefore, you won't learn the game itself, and you won't succeed. Which is why I stay away from characters like Benimaru who have really good options. Also, he's kind of hard to play because you'll need to be good at hit confirming, which I'll talk about that at the very end of this video. So Daimon's a great. Put a star by Daimon because he is probably the best beginner character in terms of learning the game as efficiently as possible. You can't really win with Daimon without using your normals and without knowing the spacings of your normals and without an active defense. Like if you just block with Daimon all day, you're gonna get blown up. Like he has a high guard gauge, but that doesn't matter because he has no uppercut. He has no fireball. He's kind of clunky. His movement is really, really bad compared to the rest of the characters. But Daimon's great for beginners because he's all normals. He's all normals. You have to use normals. You can't really use his his special moves don't go anywhere really, except for his full screen like slam thing. But that's like a gimmick. He will teach you how to use like half circles. So everything about this character is just perfect for like a new player, basically. Moving on. Oh, also he's not a grappler. This game has no grapplers. Anyway, moving on. We have Terry, who is also a very good beginner character. He will teach you how to space yourself at a very, very, very particular and important spacing where he can just kind of he can almost do whatever he wants because he has like 10 different options that like poke from a certain range. And he'll teach you how to use Rising Tackle is a charge move, so he'll teach you how to use charge moves in your combos. He's really easy to hit confirm with. He's got like 4. He's got at least 3 hits to hit confirm. So he'll teach you how to anti-air. He'll teach you how to use charge moves, and he'll teach you how to hit confirm. And he's got like a fireball to round it all out. So yeah, good character for new players. Andy is both a good character and a bad character for beginners. If you're coming from Street Fighter specifically, he is a bad character for beginners. But otherwise, go ahead and play him. His fundamentals are really solid. So if you're coming from a game like Tekken, or you're coming from a game that's not Street Fighter, or if this is your very first game, Andy's fine. If you're coming from Street Fighter, you're gonna fall into that trap of, oh, I have a really good fireball and a really good uppercut, so let me just run away and throw fireballs and uppercut the anti-air. That doesn't work in this game, and it works to an extent, but that's not the whole game, and you're missing out on a very big portion of it if you try to do that. So otherwise, Andy is a very solid character because he gets good damage. He's pretty basic. He has easy confirms off of lows, off of heavies. His Neomax is actually useful. Like I said, he has a fireball, so he'll teach you the fireball game, which I'll make a separate video on that later on. So Andy is both a good and bad character for beginners. That depends on where you've come from as a player. Joe is an underutilized character. I think he's like secretly top tier, but no one uses him. He's got really good damage output for like a bar and like a drive. He has a fireball that's really big and travels along the ground, so you can't like get over it as easily as you would say Kyo's, who just skids like along the ground. Joe, he's kind of weird. Like there are some characters in this game that are like just kind of weird, and as such, I personally don't know much about how he plays, mainly because no one uses him. No one plays Joe. I try, but it's like, I don't really learn anything like that makes the character unique. I just play the fundamentals with him. So he's pretty easy to confirm with. He doesn't have any command grabs or anything like that, but I wouldn't recommend him to beginners, but I also won't say stay away from him because honestly he's an unexplored character. In my opinion, I think he's really good because he does a lot of damage. But anyway, moving on, we have Billy. Billy is a great beginner character because he's all normals. He's got that. He's basically Dulzum, but instead of like stretchy limbs, he has a big pole. So Billy's normals are really good. All his special moves are unsafe on block or unsafe in general. He's got some command normals. He'll teach you. He'll teach you how to like drive cancel in the corner, I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm trying to say. The only reason that you shouldn't play Billy is because of that. He's just kind of annoying. And now he's on screen for the rest of the video. Moving on is Ash. Ash is not a good beginner character because he is a charged character. He has a flash kick and a sonic boom, basically, and it's the same thing as Andy, but even worse because that's really how you should play him. Is you should play him using those options, but you should also understand the fundamentals of the game first, and you just simply you won't do that by playing Ash. You will be unable to. You won't be unable, but you'll be more likely to fall under pitfalls of spam fireballs and uppercut on reaction. So, Ash, not a good character for beginners for that reason. Same with Psyche. Psyche's the same thing, but a little less utility. But he's not a charged character. He's a motion character. So take that as you will. They're essentially the same character, but one is green, one's black, and one's a charged character and one's not. Moving on to Ryo. Ryo, I almost put him in the good beginner characters, but I didn't because I feel like you're gonna fall into a lot of pitfalls of good things to throw out, like sweep parry, sweep fireball. Just like standing hard kick's really good. Like he has like a very select few options that are good, and you really shouldn't be using anything else, so you won't, and that's an issue. which is why I say don't use him as a beginner character. As a character, he's extremely basic. Like, he is probably the most basic character in the game, honestly. Like, I'm looking around and I'm not seeing anything that's like more base fundamentals than him. He's basically he's kind of like the Cody, or the Guy, or the Makoto of this game, where he's just all footsies only, and it's not footsies isn't really a thing in this game. I'll definitely make something on footsies eventually, but it won't be for KOF. It'll be for Street Fighter. If you want it now, just go watch Juicebox's video from like a year ago. He made 2 very good videos on footsies. Anyway, that's Ryo. He's a very basic, like he has a fireball that goes nowhere, and a really slow uppercut, and basic combos. All this stuff's unsafe except for fireball, etc. Robert is another underutilized character. You'll see him a lot more in KOF 14. I would say he's a bad beginner character because he has an uppercut and a fireball. Again, his fundamentals are all the same as the rest of the cast. It's just, he has an uppercut, a fireball, and a command grab. So why wouldn't you just use those, right? You won't be using normals, and he has like a full screen charge kick move that is awkward to punish, but it can be punished, but most people won't. So you're just gonna be like relying on your special moves too much. Is why I say Robert is not a good beginner character. But otherwise, Robert is a very fundamental character. He is probably the truest KOF fundamental character in the game, because he's got a taco, which I'll go over tacos in character specifics. He has a fireball, anti-airs are basic. He'll teach you it if you decidedly ignore all his special moves in terms of the neutral game. He'll teach you basically every aspect of the game besides like obscure ones like anywhere juggle and things like that. Moving on is Takuma. Takuma is a good beginner character because he'll teach you how to use command grabs. He'll teach you how to charge his hand kick, his Hiankyaku, Cadillac kick. He'll teach you his hop is really good, really quick and low to the ground. Same with both these characters. Very good beginner character. He's got high damage. His throw is a hard knockdown. He'll teach you some mix-ups. And if you're at full screen, you have a really bad fireball, but may as well throw it, right? So he'll really teach you offense, but he'll also teach you like his offense isn't so unique that people will like end up doing random things to get out of it. You'll learn the offense first, and then when people start hating you out of your offense, you'll be like, oh, that's a really good option on the defense. So through playing him, you'll learn both sides, and then you can incorporate that into your own gameplay when you're on the defense. So Takuma, very good character for beginners. Mr. Karate has the exact same base fundamentals except no command grab. But he's a bad beginner character because he has an uppercut and a fireball, and people are just going to be playing him because he's top tier, yada 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 yada. I have an uppercut and I can drive cancel for a full combo, etc. Not good for beginners because he's simply given too many options that aren't normals, and you're just going to be using them instead, and you won't learn the game. So, exact same thing with Claw Yori and Flame Yori. Flame Yori has a bunch of options. In general, Mr. Karate is slightly less damage than Takuma, but he gets like better conversions in the corner and he has better utility with his uppercut and stuff like that. Iori, exact same thing. Flame Iori has more utility but less damage. Claw Iori does more damage but less utility and doesn't really have a reversal for no meter like a solid uppercut, whereas Flame does. So as such, Claw is a great beginner character. Flame is not. Iori as a character is slightly more defensive than Kyo is, but generally offensive compared to the rest of the cast. Mature is one of those weird characters that is just, she doesn't play the same way as others because you're this character you'll want to use special moves in the neutral, like her flip move for various reasons, but like this character I can't give an overview right now without going over her moves. In general, she's a very technical character that can be played on any position really, and she'll teach you a different type of game than others. And there'll be a couple of characters like this that I won't really explain too deeply. Next is Vice. Vice is another one, but not as much. She's a little bit more fundamental. She's really basic. She's like the basic version of Mature. I mentioned before that she is more valuable with, or she's more threatening in the neutral when she has an energy bar. She has a command grab. She has a super command grab. She has the sleeve, which is a weird neutral game tool. Like she plays a different neutral than most characters. She's really easy to hit confirm with. Her combos are kind of weird. She's basically her own character. In general, she's a little bit more defensive than Mature, I would say. But that's just because that's because she's naturally just more offensive than Vice is. Can't say much else about her. In terms of beginner characters, I guess she's a good beginner character. She's not a good beginner character, but she's not a bad one either. Go ahead and play her if you like her, I guess. Moving on is Elizabeth. This is not a beginner character for a couple of reasons. The big one is she's very, very, like, these two characters here on the ends are very hard to play. The blue-haired females that aren't Kula are very hard to play. Elizabeth will teach you how the juggle fates work, although I made a video. Let's see, that will be video number 4B. I talk about juggle fates at like the very end, and I actually use Elizabeth as a dummy to show it. But Elizabeth is she's not a technical character, but she's a very physically demanding character. She's very difficult to play compared to others. So I would say stay from her. She's more defensive than most, which is something I have yet to say about any character yet. Is she's very defensive in nature compared to most, because she can't really poke you more than like twice before she's out of range. Her hops are meh, so she's going to be getting a lot more mileage out of defense than other characters. As far as Duolon is a very weird character. Like, you can see in the way he stands is just weird. He will teach you how to use Rekkas, bad fireballs. If you take him all the way, he'll teach you how to convert in like very weird ways, depending on how much meter you have. He'll teach you how to like approach with his air command rules, which are he plays a different spacing game than most. Um, he's very versatile. He can be play. I play him very, very, very aggressive and sometimes defensive. Some players just poke and poke and poke and poke and hey, you can't approach me because I know what you're gonna do and I have a normal there. Um, so he's weird but versatile at the same time. He's not very technical. He's very simple in terms of like each move he does, but like he's kind of weird. He's weird in that he can poke from ranges that he shouldn't be poking from. Shen. Shen is this is one more character that you should put a star by as a very good beginner character. Daimon and Shen. Shen does a lot of damage for his HT combos when he has meter. A lot of damage. He can kill very easily for 4 bars. The thing about Shen is his low confirms aren't easy, so you're not going to be using low confirms outside of like point blank range 1-frame links. He doesn't have a cross up, and his command grab is slow, and those things all combined make him into a very, very, very base fundamental kick. You're going to be like hopping a lot and jumping and like just hitting buttons and doing very basic KOF low throw mix-ups with him, right? And frame traps and cancels from your command normals, and he'll teach you the base game, and then in the middle of all this crap that you're doing, you can hit confirm into a full combo and kill. And that's Shen, basically. He's a very, very, very basic character in terms of what he can do. So, good beginner character. Kim is not. Kim is one more of those top tier characters that has an uppercut and a safe special moves, invincible moves, and all this crazy stuff. 5 hits to confirm. It's just he's got so much stuff that you're going to be relying on that. He has a standing overhead. He's got so much stuff to think about that isn't fundamentals, that you won't be playing fundamentals with. That you won't be learning fundamentals with him as a beginner. Overall, he's pretty aggressive when compared to the rest of the cast, but other than that, he's just a solid character. Like he has all the options he needs and good damage, which is not something you see very often. Hwajai is another one of those weird characters who just seems to be safe on everything he does, except uppercut. Because of his number of options, I would say he's a bad beginner character, but he's not really. He doesn't have a fireball. He has an uppercut. I feel like you're going to be relying very heavily on his drink and his safe special moves while drunk. But other than that, he is a very weird character because he kind of looks like Joe, but he's not. He's bald. Another one of those characters that's again kind of unexplored, but if I were to summarize Hwajai, he's like he's kind of like that annoying character like Adon in Street Fighter. He's kind of meant to be annoying, but he's not really doing anything. That's my opinion. Raiden is another bad beginner character because he plays very differently from most characters, but so much so that you won't be learning the fundamentals anymore. He has armor charge attacks and command grabs and anti-air grabs, and you're just going to be using those, and you won't be really using his normals because honestly his normals are bad. This is kind of like the fuerte of this game is Raiden, which I don't know. Also, he's very kind of unexplored. There's one particular player who plays him, but not too many. He's also the character that that has like a. Wow, he is a lot like Fuerte. He basically has a quesadilla bomb in his drop kick move. Yeah. So moving on, Raiden. What I'm trying to say with Raiden is it's very easy to get caught in this loop of I do this and this and this and this and this, and you never switch it up. You never mix it up. You always do the exact same thing, and that's an issue. So, Mai Shiranui, the cover girl of this game, considered a weak character, but she's really not. She just has very few defensive options while still being weak on the offense in terms of damage. But she has a very interesting like neutral game. She has the fan as a fireball. It's a very small projectile, but it's really fast. And she can like wall dive to escape certain scenarios. And the air fan will make really weird cross-up situations. Sometimes double cross-up, sometimes triple cross-up scenarios. But in general, she's just kind of a wonky character. It's kind of hard to play her because her normals hit in weird ways that most characters can't hit from, and there's really no point in it. She's got a good anti-air normals, I guess. And her fireballs are really, really fast. That's about it. She's actually a very basic character. She's kind of lacking in terms of, like, options. King, however. King is often considered one of the best characters in the game, but, not. That's because they were bad. Honestly. She is considered a zoner, but she's not. Although many people play her as one, you really shouldn't. She's got fireballs, air fireballs. In particular, she has an air fireball that moves her backwards as the fireball goes forwards, so it's really hard to punish her. She's a very low damage character, so you want to put her on point because she can get conversions for no meter, but she doesn't do very much damage. Damage isn't really her thing. Her thing is kind of like really basic fundamental character, where she'll teach you the fireball game, hopefully, and she has really good jumping normals for every scenario. Her standing normals are really good. What else? Her combos are really, really easy, actually. Except for one trial mode combo. Other than that, I would say, because of these certain pitfalls that you can fall into, I can say she's not a good beginner character, but not really. Like, the big ones are like Flameori, Kim, and like Benimaru and Raiden are like the big ones that you really shouldn't play, and like Leona and Elizabeth, because they're hard to play, are the big ones that you kind of shouldn't play, simply because you're not going to learn playing them. So that's King. Yuri is very good. Yuri is, in my opinion, the best character in the game, but most people don't agree with me. Yuri has everything except range, honestly. But she doesn't need range because she can move like really fast. Imagine Akuma with a command grab, with a one frame command grab, and like better movement. Yeah, that's her. And a dive kick that's always plus like a billion. Her dive kick is really good, which I'll go over like what makes the dive kick very bad when I get into her character tutorial. But in general, Yuri is just a very, very, very good character. She does a lot of damage for certain meter values, and she can carry to the corner very easily. And if you're good, she has an HD combo that does a lot of damage called the butt loop, which again, I'll go into that when I get to her in the characters, in her own separate video. Next is K-Dash. K-Dash. I put K-Dash in the good for beginner characters section, but he plays different from other like he'll teach you like the other side of KOF that other characters won't teach you. He'll teach you how to use like anywhere juggle. He'll teach you how to use uppercuts and like trigger fireballs. Like he can like blow up one fireball and then shoot his own with his trigger. He'll teach you how to do some weird drive cancels and stuff like that. And he'll teach you like the obscure parts of KOF that exist in most other characters, but he does it more often. Kula, I would say, God, I hate Kula. If there is one character in this game that I wish was not in it, it would be Raiden, followed by Kula. Kula is just annoying. Her damage is meh, but like she hits everywhere. Like her buttons are huge. And she has like options from her, like she can cancel into say special moves. She gets like 5 hits to confirm. She will randomly just get around your fireballs for no reason and hit you, and just stuff like that. Again, her damage can be low, but her utility is very good. Let's put it that way. Is very good. But to me, I'm not a Kula player, but to me, when I play against Kulas, it feels like they're just kind of doing things, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So I don't know. Next is Maxima. Maxima is almost a good beginner character, but not quite. He'll teach you how to use high armor, command grabs. His combos are really easy. He can anti-air easily. He has an uppercut for a bar. He's just a very basic character, I think, is all it comes down to. He really capitalizes on opponents making mistakes because all his stuff is like big. Like he's a very big guy, so all his normals hit like everywhere. So certain characters like Kyo or Yuri that kind of like need to get in like really close can have a tough time against Maxima, who just kind of occupies so much space that they can't get in anymore. Athena is a fireball character. So okay, there are three major fireball characters, which are King, Athena, and Kenso. But like there are others that can still play the same game, like Andy, Joe, Leona, etc. But Athena is probably the purest fireball character because she really doesn't have she doesn't have anything else in the neutral. Like all her normals are really stubby. She has an uppercut and a command grab and a fireball, but it's like all her normals are really short range. However, I can't say she's good for beginners though, because it's like her normals aren't good. So like, what are you using? You're using fireballs. But she's not bad for beginners either. But I don't know. this is a character that I've kind of been dabbling with myself, and I'm still trying to figure her out. Like, there's a couple characters like Athena, Raiden, Hua, and Joe that I'm like kind of messing around with right now. Rolf, I'm kind of like playing around with them to see like what makes them different, and Athena is kind of in the process for that. Kenso is very similar to Athena. He is a fireball character, but he's more like a trickster character. Like he's probably the most mobile character of the three fireball characters. Maybe I don't know, it's hard to say. But he has an uppercut, a fireball, and but he's like more rushdown. He's probably the most aggressive of the three fireball characters. Which is weird because he has the most defensive fireball, but he's played very like aggressive. If that makes sense, it probably doesn't. But like his fireball is really good. Probably not as good as Athena's, but Kenso is, if you want to like have fun, basically. When I want to have fun, I play Kenso, basically. Like if I'm just playing random people, I'll pick Kenso sometimes because he is really fun. Like he's got gimmicks, like his taunt looks like his fireball, but it's not. Or he can like mash his DP too hard and he like runs out of breath, and stuff like that. Or he actually has like a lot of options to like do really stupid combos for like way too much meter for no damage. But I don't know. That's Kenso. We're almost done. Chin. I almost put Chin in the bad for beginners, but I didn't. Chin is a very unique character in that he has this whole like gourd thing where he drinks, and every time he drinks, he does more damage. But that's not very. That's not the crux of his gameplay. He is a top tier character because he does a lot of damage and he has good utility, which is kind of a theme here. Kim, high damage, high utility. Chin is the same way. Chin has really crazy mix-ups sometimes, and he is one of the three characters in the game that can combo off of a throw in the corner. The other ones are Kenso and Benimaru. Chin can combo off of a throw in the corner. I talked about that earlier in a previous video. But he is just like, he's a really weird like, you have to know how to play against him to beat him, basically. So if you want to learn like a character that probably some people might not know how to play against, Chin's a good one. In general, he's immobile, but he like has certain attacks that move him really fast. So like just jumping and running is really slow, but he can like occupy the space around him very well while like moving with his roll attack that goes like full screen. Rolf is a great beginner character. Rolf is the third character that you want to put a star by. Rolf. Rolf is all normals. Rolf and Clark, but mainly Rolf. Rolf is just his normals are so big, and all this other stuff is bad, and that's like perfect for beginners because you're going to be using normals, and then in combos you'll use special moves. He can delay his jump with the dive punch. He can get free frame advantage with a special move, which is really unique. Kind of like K-Dash, but not really. And he's big. Like all his normals are big, and really good. So good beginner character. You're gonna learn a lot from him, hopefully. Clark again, same normals, but he doesn't have the same special moves. He's actually probably the most grapply character in the game, but he's not a grappler. He has this armor command grab, and then a regular, and then like a one frame command grab. Pretty average to low damage for a character. Usually you'll see him play on point because he's kind of like a mix-up monster character because he's got command grabs. That's if you choose to play him that way. He has an air throw, which is one of a few characters. I would say he's aggressive, but his defense is average. Is how I would sum up the character. Leona is very difficult. Leona is technically a charge character. She has a couple of moves that aren't. But Leona is a very difficult character. She is very technically demanding. After you've gotten past that, the execution barrier, she is a defensive character. She has a lot of tools to just catch the opponent as they rush at her. For example, she can just put an orb in the middle of the freaking air, and then you just jump into it, and she gets a combo off of it. Or she can throw an earring from far range to get basically free offense. Again, the goal of defensive characters is offense. It's just the neutral is played defensively. For example, Vice is all about waiting for you to make a mistake, and she's ready for it. Same thing with Leona. Like, her neutral is all about like making a hard read on the opponent's approach, and then knowing how to capitalize on it. Again, a very technical character in terms of combos. But there are some input shortcuts or tricks that I'll show you when I get to her. And so with that, that's every character that I talked about. Let me go ahead and read off all the good characters for beginners. Both Kyos, put a start by Daimon, Terry, maybe Andy, Billy, Takuma, Claw Iori, Shen, put a star by Shen, and K-Dash, and put a star by Rolf. Those are the good beginner characters that I would recommend. Bad beginner characters: Benimaru, maybe Andy, Ash, Saiki, Robert, Flamiori. Oh, I didn't put Mr. Karate, but yes, Mr. Karate. Flamiori, Elizabeth, Kim, Hawajai, Raiden, King, and Leona, and almost Chin. So yeah, so that's a general overview of all the characters. Hopefully I did a good job. I don't think I did, honestly. I kind of said the same thing for every character, but honestly every character is the same. They play the same. I made note of like Mature and Vice and K-Dash and Chin, who play weird compared to everybody else, but so now that you understand every character, hopefully I've shown you the art for every character, so hopefully you can pick a character that you like to play. Maybe dabble around with every character. Maybe try some trials to see what their combos might look like. Maybe watch some high-level videos of the characters being played to see, what does a pro look like. I think Psyche is a fascinating character at high level because he does so much damage. So now that you've hopefully got 3 characters picked, like step 1 is just pick 3 characters, right? But once you have those characters, what do you want to do to practice? And this is how I'm going to leave off this video. It's been a very long video. It's been about, I don't know, like an hour or something. But like, now that you have picked a character, what do you do with them, right? So you need 2 general things with them. I'll just use Kyo as an example.
Select the order.
Kyo. The first thing you want is hit confirms. Crouch, random guard. This is going to be your best friend for a long time. Is crouch, random guard. You want to hit confirm things. So for example, on block stop, on hit don't do a combo. That's how you hit confirm. Is with random guard. However, you'll also want low confirms. Oops. This way you will both learn combos and hit confirming at the same time. And you should do this until you get it every single time, basically. Practice off of 2 hits, off of 2 quick hits, that ain't combo. Etc. 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 I'm not going to go into hit confirming here because that's a character by character thing. But the second thing that they work on is anti-air. Now, the thing that you need to realize about anti-air is that it's going to change depending on what the opponent does. Like, if I'm standing here and he jumps at me, I can't really jab him. Like, he just hits me. However, if he's at this range and he hops at me, then maybe it will work. There we go. This is how you stop hops, is staying light punch for most characters. And again, this is going to change based on the range. Watch this. It doesn't work from way over here. It trades. But if I'm close, it works. This is going to depend on 1, what jump they use, 2, what normal they use, 3, what timing they use the normal, and 4, the spacing between you or where you are on the ground. So for every character, you're going to want to mess around with all of their normals that might anti-air. Like, what about cross jab? Nope. What about here? Really close. Nope. Okay. What about cross hard kick? Maybe. What about uppercut? It's traded. What about EX uppercut? It's invincible. What about... That works preemptively. What about this? You know? So like, you'll need to spend time in training mode just working against every single type of jump. And figuring out what the best option to anti-air at every range, timing, spacing, against every normal, against every character, etc., etc., etc. And so with that, those are the 2 things that I leave you with. I went over the characters, and I went over what you should be practicing with each character. That being said, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. More importantly, I hope you learned something from it.